turn it back to the governor, but happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mac. Thank you, Brad. When you think about this storm, you literally, from Mississippi's perspective, you can go to the southwest corner of our state at the Mississippi River and draw a diagonal line all the way up to the northeastern border where Alabama and Tennessee borders meet. And if you are north of that line, then there is likely an impact in the county that you live in. And it's a pretty significant event for us. Brad makes a very important point, which is there are a lot of state assets and state resources here at the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, at the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, at the Mississippi Department of Transportation, our county employees, our city employees who are out working in dangerous situations. So let's be sure and first of all pray for them, but also thank them when we see them. But again, if you don't have to be out and about, don't thank them in person for a couple of days if you don't mind, because I think it'll keep everyone much, much safer. So with that, I'll open the floor to questions. Cordian?
Governor, can you talk about the challenges that come along with kind of the outside factors of things like the TVA transmission line failure and what that looks like for these power associations in North Mississippi that serves such a large swath of the state?
Yeah, so I actually spoke with and have spoken with the CEOs of most of the utility companies over the last couple of days, and spoke with the CEO of TVA earlier today, and they are working to get that back online. There's no question about that. You've got both generation challenges that have been caused by this storm as well as transmission challenges. The transmission tends to be handled by the rural electric authorities. And so we are all in conversation and communication and cooperation to get the power back on as soon as is humanly possible. The real challenges that exist in an ice storm is in many areas it's not safe for our people to be out and about trying to do things because of the amount of ice that is on the road. And also, it's not just the ice on the road, as Brad said earlier, it's when trees fall across the road, or when a power line that is above ground, a limb falls on the power line, and then the limb and the power line falls across the road. And so there's a unique and different situation in every single county that we're having to deal with. But clearly, the lack of power concerns me the most, because we are going to see such frigid temperatures tonight and tomorrow, and most likely on Monday night as well. And so as I think about the next 36 to 48 hours, I cannot reiterate strongly enough, most of the precipitation is probably out of our state now. Maybe a little bit down in the southeast part, but most of the actual precipitation that's falling from the sky is out of our state. But that doesn't mean that the danger is behind us, because what's going to happen is all of the ice that is currently on the trees, all of the slush that is currently on the roads, because it's getting so cold tonight, we're going to see refreezing. And so even if the sun comes out first thing tomorrow morning, which it's supposed to do, that doesn't mean that it's going to be safe on the roads, because it's literally going to be so frigid. And so I'm concerned about those temperatures and what that means. And it's really the challenge of an ice storm. We haven't seen a storm of this magnitude in terms of ice since 1994. We obviously had some very cold days and some ice that we dealt with in the early part of my administration. I believe it was 2021, I believe. But this magnitude, this large of an area in our state, and quite honestly, this much ice. We haven't seen anything like this since 1994 in Mississippi, so 32 years. So again, I do want to commend our fellow Mississippians. We have been fortunate that most people have stayed off the road today. That has been helpful, and that's allowed those who could get out and about and do their jobs, whether it's utility companies or MDOT or DPS. It's helped the counties and the cities But again, we need to continue to stay in that mode for a little while longer.
AC Lewis with 12 News. I was wondering, you mentioned that Trump signed the emergency resource fund. I was wondering, when do you think that the funds will kind of begin distributing throughout the state to the people that need it the most?
Well, obviously, the initial declaration is really about the resources that we need to be able to get resources to the cities and counties, things like generators for our long-term care facilities, as an example. It is truckloads of water that we can send to the various warming stations, as well as loads of cots and blankets and tarps. It also allows for a federal cost share as we progress forward as to exactly what those resources look like. We'll continue to work through that depending upon the longevity of this scenario. Yes, sir.
Carlos Garcia with CCWT. Most of the northern counties of the state are the ones that have been battered by the ice and the snow. Is there a plan to prioritize them with these federal grants, and what's the message to the residents of those northern counties?
Yeah, well, I will tell you, when you look at the amount of ice in the Mississippi Delta, it's pretty incredible. Not too far northwest of Metro Jackson, there's some pretty serious ice that has fallen in what I would consider the South Delta. And so we've got a very large area that is currently dealing with ice, and a very large area that is currently dealing with lost power. And so, you know, when we talk about prioritization, the utility companies are going to prioritize getting the most number of people back online as quickly as possible and get power back to the residences and the businesses across Mississippi as quickly as possible. And so that's something that they certainly have done for many, many years, and will prioritize this year as well. Great.
Hi, Governor. Thank you. We just learned that Parchman State, the Mississippi State Penitentiary at Parchman and the Delta Correctional Facility in Greenwood both lost power. What information can you provide us about the situation at those prisons? We've heard that inmates have gone hours without heat and food. And what can you tell us about what's going on there now, and also the cause as well? Yeah,
so the cause is obviously the frigid weather and the ice. We are aware of that. We are working on getting that done. I don't have any visibility in the last hour as to exactly where they are, but I'm confident that we will get that back online via a generator. If not already, then very soon.
It's done.
It's okay.
Sorry, that's some of the things you work behind the lines and been working on Delta for about 3 days ahead of time. Their generator systems refused to start up. So we were trying to pre-start things everywhere we were. Now, Parchman's a little bit different situation. We've got 140K headed up that way to get it done. But the Delta Correctional Facility, we knew we had 3 that were not going to work. So we pre-positioned some of those up there. And when they finally lost power, you start tracing in those other generators to get that done. So Parchman just taken care of, and we've got those facilities up there. That just happened just a few moments ago, sir. As we knew we were going to have some issues up there. Those were older systems, so pre-staged. We were ready to put them in, and they're good to go at this time. So.
Thank you.